Hi, you're welcome to Inside Editing on Adobe Premiere 101. Inside Editing is an open platform for filmmakers, content creators, and basically for editors, both professionals and beginners. It's an open platform where we all share knowledge and learn from each other. All right. It's a fully practical platform, and everybody is actually welcome if you have interest in editing. So we're going to be starting from scratch, and we'll be doing a little bit of Photoshop. You will agree with me that if you are good with Adobe Premiere and Photoshop, trust me, you will be comfortable working on your own. And this is a platform where everybody, when it comes to editing, is welcome. Now we'll be working with Adobe Premiere 2022 version. If you don't have it, please go right away, jump on their website, download it, the free trial version for 7 days. Okay, by the time you finish 7 days, you should be able to see reason to buy a full version. Okay, so we get it started. One thing I love to do is to keep my icons on the desktop. You have it on the desktop, but if you don't have yours on the desktop, you can go right from the start. Mind you, I'm using Windows 11, the latest version, so the environment might be a little bit different, but it's the same thing. So this is how the menu appears. Okay, you have it here, or you can go to all apps and you have them here. We just finished with 2021, so we're starting with 2022. I'm very much excited opening this application because I'm using it for the first time and I'm happy I'm using it with you. So this is how it looks like. Wow, quite colorful. So this is the environment. This is the environment. What do we do here? We edit, we put effects, and we export our jobs. I mean, that's all about editing. So for a beginner, we can actually click here to kick it started, but we're going to go to new projects. If you have old projects, you can always click on the open projects for you to locate your old project. But like I said, this is the welcome window. When you have been doing projects here, you should be able to see lists of projects you've done in the past listed there for you to easily click on them and get it started. So we click on new. If there is something I love to do when it comes to editing or working with my computer is arrangement. Arrangement. An arrangement starts with file name. How to name your file, the location you're naming your files. You should have different folder for your video, that's the clips. You should have different folder for your pictures, for graphics. You should have different folder for your audio and sound effects. So when you have them properly arranged in one folder, it will guide you when it comes to, even if you're not around, you can always make a phone call, go to this folder, go to that folder, and the person should be able to do what? Help you out. And this also goes with those that store on the web platform. Okay, so for the interest of this class, we're going to be naming this Project Expo. Project Expo. Okay, now it doesn't end there. Project Expo is okay, but we can have 7 different Project Expos in one folder. So how do we differentiate them? So today's date is 09/02/22. Project Expo 09/02/22. I mean, it can never be mistaken. All right. Even where you're saving it. Now we'll go to location. Where do you want to save it? By default, look at these people. You have Drive C, user, and this is by default. So what do? We go to browse. If you click here, you should see, if you've been saving, you should see other places you can actually save. But for safety, we go to browse, and this is the environment you can select. Because it's video, I actually love to put my video files on the video folder. So here we are. We quickly create a new folder here and you give it a name. Okay, let's do 2022. All right, so I've started doing my arrangement already. Now inside 2022, I'm going to be having a new folder for Expo. So everything about Expo 2021. Okay, let's just leave it at Expo. Okay, everything about Expo is going to be storing inside this folder. So I'm good to go. So here we have it. Project Expo is located inside Expo. So if you go to search and search for Expo, it should be able to bring this. So people, this is all about this environment. We quickly go down here and select HDV. You can leave it on DV, but I like to work on HDV. And over here, another menu here. As time goes on, I will explain all this, but for the interest of time, we'll just hit OK. Okay. For the first time, this is Adobe Premiere environment, 2022 environment. Isn't it lovely? Wow. Okay, so we are on learning. That is why you have this here. We have assembly, we have editing, color, effect. All these are environments of Adobe Premiere that you can always work in. When you're dealing with graphics, you go to the graphic environment, you will see different window display, and it will come with different tools relating to graphics for you to work with. So you have the graphical elements here for you to work with. Okay, you have the graphical elements here if you're looking at already made lower third and all that. Now, if you're working with audio, you also have audio effects also come, color also come. People will be working with editing. So each time you come here and you're getting it twisted because someone has worked on the system, check if you're on editing environment. And this is the window. This is the window. If this is your first time, pay much attention to this. Okay, guys, this is the project panel. You can see it's highlighted, the project panel. I like working with just the project panel and the effects panel, just to keep my work environment very clean. Information, I don't really use all this. So markers, okay. As time goes on, I'll show you how to bring them back, history, and if you really need it. So I like working with just the project panel and the effects panel. They are mostly together, but in time to come, I will show us how to arrange it. Okay, you can actually arrange the environment anyhow you want it to be. All right, so it comes like this. You import your project here on the project panel, and then you preview it on the source monitor panel, and you bring it down to the timeline inside a sequence. Okay, you can have as many sequences as possible in one project. Is that okay? Then when you preview, when you're working on the sequence, when you're working on the timeline, it will be previewed down here on the program monitor. Okay, it will be previewed on the program monitor panel. So that is about it. This is the working tools. These are working tools we are going to be using. I call them handy tools. Okay, we'll be working with select tool or V on the keyboard, eraser tool or C on the keyboard, and text tool or T on the keyboard. So I love working with the shortcuts. So as time goes on, I will define numerous shortcuts you can actually be using. You'll find out that when you're working with shortcuts, it makes the work very, very easy. Okay. Over time, we always call here the timeline, actually. Yeah, so when I mention timeline, I'm not actually talking about this place. I will be referring to the sequence panel. But for the interest of the class, area is for your sequence to be placed. Okay, very soon we'll create a sequence and we'll explain more about that. And this is sound lever, the sound meter. This is the sound meter here, the audio lever, where you'll be seeing your sound movements. So as time goes on, we will learn more about the assembly, the color, the effect, the audio, the graphics, and all that. At the moment, we'll be working with the editing environment. This is the editing environment right here. And there's another thing I've not mentioned, effect controls. Effect controls. Look out for this environment, the effect controls. You can see where I'm clicking to get all these things. Okay, these are the basics. These are the basics. Okay, so we can create sequence from here, or by right-clicking inside this box, going to new item sequence, or by pressing Ctrl N on the keyboard, it will bring up sequence for us. Ctrl N on the keyboard, it will bring out the dialog box for sequence for us. Or you can go to File menu and you go to New and you have sequence here. That is the shortcut here, Ctrl N. All right. When it comes to sequence, I love to work with HDV, high definition. Okay, and I love to work with 1020 by 24 frame. Okay, so this is it. Now you name your sequence. This is very, very important. You have to name every sequence so that you can identify them, because they all look, they use the same symbol. Okay, so this is inside editing 101. This is inside editing 101. Okay. This is it. This is our time code, and every sequence, depending on how you set it, comes with 3 video lane and then 3 audio lane. So when you pick a video stays up here and audio stays down here. Sometimes you want to expand your audio to be able to see the audio. You can also double click to expand it or double click to reduce, to bring it back to normal size. So this is a sequence and this is a symbol for the sequence. Okay. Now the next thing we have to do is to import files. Okay. For this very version, I want us to work with just text. Just text. Okay. So like I said, we have our T on the keyboard will give us text. And when you click here, you can type inside editing 101. Whatever you do, you should return back to, when you finish using any of the tools, you come back to select tool or you press V on the keyboard and it will change. With that, you can manually expand this or increase it from here. You can expand it, you can move it around, you can place it wherever you want it to be. Okay, now let's go to the timeline. You can actually zoom the timeline with this. You can zoom the timeline with this. Now, if you zoom in very well, let me show you something here. If you zoom in very well, you will notice this. Each movement here is noted by a frame, a frame, a frame, one frame, one frame, one frame. And that is how Adobe Premiere is designed. That is how flexible it can be. Is that okay? So this is our inside editing. Now, I want us to separate it. You can double click here. I want us to separate it. Let's have them appear simultaneously. So we have this. We can place this up here. We can place this up here. So this is what we have inside editing. Now, if you move this a little bit further and move this a little bit further, let's look at what we have inside editing 101. That is our first arrangement. Inside, you can move it further, editing 101. And this would display for, okay, I want it to display for 4 seconds. 4 seconds. Where is 4 seconds? Watch here when you move. 4 seconds. This is 4 seconds. So I want it to display for 4 seconds. Inside editing 101. That is it. This is our first project. Inside editing 101. Now, what if I don't want it to appear this way? Okay. What if I don't want it to appear this way? I want you to make a move. This is all about editing. We're working with text. Like I said, we have the eraser tool to cut each and every bit of this text. Let's assume I want to cut it from here. When it comes to this place, I want this to disappear. When it comes before this show, I want this to disappear. Okay. Now I've cut it, delete. I've cut this, delete. So look at what we have inside editing 101. Are you there? Inside editing 101. Now look at this. Let's close it. Let's close it. Okay. Now you highlight all and duplicate this. When you're duplicating, you just hold the Alt key on the keyboard and it will duplicate. Now, after duplicating, I want it to display that former way, right? Okay, I want it to display one after the other. Look at this, inside editing 101. So, okay. So we have it two different versions, inside editing 101. All right, now let's delete this. Let's rearrange this. Let's bring them all together. Select all of them. You can select that way. You can click and hold the shift key and you can pick them one after the other. Okay. All right. Now, I want this to appear with effect. Under effect, we're working with video. I want to put video transition. So I'm working with dissolve. We make use of dissolve more. Among all the video effects here, we make use of dissolve more. We have 3D, okay, I want it to come with cross dissolve. Okay, so we apply it here. Can push these guys back a little bit. Can also push this back a little bit. So we have it. Okay. We put this here too. So we have it. We put this here too. So this is what we have. Isn't it beautiful? Okay, so it ends with this, and it ends with that. It ends with that. The proper tool to be used here is deep to black. Deep to black, because it's ending. Deep to black. Okay, so let's see. Beautiful. So we're going to end this right here. We have used the select tool, we have used the text tool, and we have used the eraser tool, like I told you, and we have also used the transition. We've used the dissolve transition for the video. Okay, so we're going to be saving this file, save. Now, after saving, if you want to render it, you can easily render. But what portion are you rendering? In rendering, you mark in by placing the cursor, the pointer where you want it to be, where you want to start the rendering from. Mark in, and where you want to end the rendering. We're ending it here. So you go to File, and you go to Export, and you go to Media, and you select Format. We always use the H264, and you select depending on where you're sending it to. So I'm going to be using the very first one here. Here is the size. Most importantly, the output name. The output name. You give it a name. I'm leaving it on the default inside editing 101. Location. Where do you want to save it? Remember, we have a folder here, and we can still drop it here, or we just drop it on the video part. But for the interest of what we're doing, I'm putting it inside the Project Expo, and save and export. All right, people, we are dropping it here today. If you have any questions, please comment on the comment section, and WhatsApp us if you want to join the group where we can be having one-on-one interaction. Our very first Adobe Premiere 2022 editing 101. We're able to use 3 different tools. Like I said, the select tool, the cut, the eraser tool, and the text tool. These are the 3 tools we use today. I want you to also put something together and bring it up before we start the next class. Let us all see and progress together. Next is Adobe Premiere 102. In 102, we'll be working more with video files and sound files. Please stay tuned as we progress gradually. Thank you.